Okay, right. Where's the script? Like I need it. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, dear listeners. This is episode 82 of the Devon Dice podcast, recorded on the 25th of October, 2020. I'm your host of this podcast. My name is Joel Wright. Joining me tonight, none of the usual regulars, of course. One's overslept. He's literally just woke up. The other one, I don't know where he is. He's probably giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to an 80-year-old. But we have got our very own in-house designer, Nick Shaw.
Hello, everybody.
In the pod.
In-house
Hello,
designer,
Nick.
that sounds posh.
It makes us sound good as well. But yeah,
Good to be here.
Yes, it's good to. Well, I think some of you would be quite glad to hear a podcast from us because it's been well over a month since the last one. Just looking at the dates on the script, I was like, "Oh my god, it's been that long." So yes, we've just been busy. That's all I can say.
Too busy. Everyone's too busy these days.
Time is slipping away, and it's just been one of those things. And then I received a email from one of our good loyal listeners saying, "Where's the podcast, guys? I'm desperately waiting for a podcast to drop." So yeah, we should do one. So here it is.
Here we are.
Yeah, so it might be a two-parter because I've got Nick here tonight, and then I might have one of the other guys I can't speak. One of the other guys pop in through the week and give their thoughts on something they want to talk about. So yeah, stay tuned. Maybe 2 parts of this, or it might be another date it drops. We'll see what happens. But so we're just going to go, and hopefully Nick's brought a lot of information about board games in because I've got sod all.
You've just played Ticket to Ride with your family. You've got plenty of fresh information in your brain.
Okay, let's start with that then. I've not been playing many board games. I have been playing a lot on Board Game Arena, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I have been going back to the classics with the family. Last night we played Pandemic, which is a huge milestone because the last time I played Pandemic was with a wife was probably before my son was born.
Wow.
And she played it, and she said, "Never want to play that again." And I don't know if it's the fact.
Her, have you?
Well, I don't know if it's the fact that at the time, because we might have played it while she was pregnant, or just because like it was her first child, it was kind of that what she calls baby brain syndrome.
Yeah, sure.
So she just, and I think also being a cooperative, I kind of alphaed it a bit. So
Joel, naughty. Especially with your wife, alpha game. Oh,
I try not to, but then I'm like, but if you did this move,
you win.
Yeah, if you did this move and went here, and then we could do that. She goes, "Do you want to play the game for us then? Just play the game on your own then." I was like, "But I'm just trying to. I just don't care." And then it's just like,
Nice.
We lost. Yeah, we lost. Oh, that's a crap game. Don't want to play that anymore. So it's kind of that. I think co-ops put her off for quite a bit.
Right,
but
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then it's kind of been intriguing her because we go around a friend's house before the pandemic, and they've done Pandemic Season 1 and Season 2, and they've got them shadow boxed on the wall, the boards and everything there. Now they've covered up Season 1 for me because I'm still halfway through my episode of Season 1, and so there's Season 2 up there, and they keep discussing it, and they keep threatening and say, "Look, we can't keep covering this up. You've got to complete this game, or we're going to just leave it uncovered one." I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So that was meant to be November this year when they threatened to do it. That was before we even know there's a pandemic on its way. But and then Season 0's come out, and they've been on like our WhatsApp group going, "Oh look, got this, ready to play this," kind of thing, because they played with old Lewis as well. And Claire's like, "Oh, what is this?" Like they keep talking about. And I was like, "Okay." So Saturday night, last night, me, the wife, and the son were like, "What shall we play?" And I said, let's get Pandemic out. Let's give that a go. It's a co-op. It'll help him and things like that. So we started playing it. We won on medium level, which was a triumph. Yep. I didn't need to alpha it. I mean, I think the wife alphaed it more than I did. So
well, that's good. That's a good sign then.
It was a good sign. Yeah. And then she goes, I enjoyed that. That was good fun. I said, that's good because I ordered season 0, so that should be here this week. She goes, where do you keep getting all this money from? I'm not telling you, but it's ordered.
That's exciting. Yeah, season 0 looks quite fun. Like quite a difference to seasons 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, apparently it's the best one out of the 3 so far.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah.
And I did check whether I was going to spoil anything by getting it out, like not playing it in order,
release order.
But yeah, and like Rado. Yeah, I talked to the yeah, I talked to him regularly on my WhatsApp group about board games and football, and so Rado came in and then said that he's played all 3 in order, and he actually wishes after playing season 0 he could wipe his memory of the other 2 and play those through again.
That's really cool. So they have put some of the overarching plot line into kind of seeding 1 and 2 then in 0. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting, yeah.
So hopefully we'll play 0.
Yeah.
Smash that out this week, of course. Play 0, and then I don't know whether I should continue my season 1 because I played that with Tom, who Tom is, Lewis and Mike, and and we're halfway through it. I think we're literally halfway through it.
Yeah.
So it's whether we continue that, and we'll kind
you restart it with your wife,
or we restart a new one and have our own.
Yeah. See, I would see how season 0 goes. It may take you months to do season 0 anyway. You never know.
Maybe. I'm hoping it's not, but yeah. So yeah,
it took us months to do season 1. I think it took like 6 to 9 months to do season 1.
Yeah. Well, it's taken me about 3 years to do season 1 at the minute.
And you're only halfway.
I
find between games, if you have that big a gap, it's really hard to remember all the extra rules that get added in.
It's also trying to go back to it. See, we were playing it in the evenings on our regular game nights, and then it was like we were just blitzing it. Yeah. And then one evening it was like, shall we have a break from it? And I think that was the death of it then.
Yeah, that's the deadly thing to do.
And it was like, shall we play this again? And then we were like trying to organise like a Saturday and say, look, shall we just do a Saturday and blitz the whole game out? And like and they said yes, and then of course life gets in the way, and we never got around to doing it. So yes, but I really want to do season 1 because I got to July or something like that now.
Yeah.
And in September something big happens, and I'm just like, I want to get to that and see what happens. So,
yeah, it's worth seeing what happens there. It's cool.
Yeah.
Not to tease it any more for you, to make it any worse.
Well, I already know something big's happening, and you've just confirmed that I need to get to September and see what could happen. So, but that is the big problem. Like the rock and a hard place. Do I get a new one or do I continue it? Because we're leaving off from someone else's game, which won't be ours technically. And there's a few little rude things we put on there when we were naming our viruses. So I don't know if they'd be child appropriate.
That's a good point.
Oh dear. But so that's quite exciting. And then as Nick's saying, we've been doing Ticket to Ride. Just now, literally just finished a game of Ticket to Ride, and I beat the wife. Didn't physically beat her, just on the board game. I do have to reiterate because when I listened back to the last podcast, I was mentioning how I think I said something like, I'm getting bored with like playing games and beating the wife, which really sounded like the wrong context to put it in.
Things, yeah.
Guys, I do not beat up the wife at all. More like the other way around, but let's not talk about that. No, so it was. She always wins Ticket to Ride. She doesn't pull her punches, so it was like it felt good. And we got down to I was ahead after final scoring, but she got the longest track and got 10 points, which leveled us off on points.
Oh, yeah.
And then it comes down to who's completed the most tickets.
It was a tie break. Wow.
Yeah. So who's completed the most destination tickets? Yep. I had 5. She had 5, but 1 was incomplete.
Oh,
so it was just like...
That is like the sweetest victory, isn't
it? It was awesome. And the kids are just looking at us going, you beat us again. It's just disgusting.
Oh, they have to learn young, you see. You have to teach them.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And that was just the base ticket ride, was it the American?
Oh, yeah. We've got that family version. The
My First Journey or whatever it is?
No. So Days of Wonder released a print and play ticket ride.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I printed it out, stuck it all together. We played that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then, we haven't got any expansions to that, but we've also got the 10th year anniversary edition, which has got some expansions in. And but it's so flipping big that it's just like can't play it on this table. So,
you're waiting for your giant table to arrive.
Yeah, waiting for the giant table just to play 10th anniversary.
So. Fantastic.
Awesome. So, cool. What you been playing recently then?
So I have been playing just a couple of games I'm going to mention now, which happen to be ones I picked up last Essen.
Yeah.
Which are Sierra West from Boards and Dice, which is designed by Johnny Pack, which is a kind of American West frontiers type game where you're exploring over the Nevada mountains. And it is the mountain is kind of created with cards, so it's like almost like if you think of the way that Seven Wonders Duel lays out its cards in a kind of a triangle shape, kind of the inverse of that, so it's like a mountain shape. And you have your own little deck of cards, so you're kind of building your deck, and a little player board which the cards tuck into in a little fashion, so it covers up certain actions and not others. And then you have your little guys who walk along and do the actions. And you can move your guys up the mountain and then kind of excavate the cards, which is kind of you add a card to your deck. And you're doing that over and over until you can reveal all the special cards which are built in. There are 6 special cards in the mountain, and that triggers the end of the game. And the game comes with 4 different modes that you can play it with, which change it up. The basic one is the apple orchard, I think it's called, which is like the basic game, which is just has an extra scoring track of apples. And then I've been trying to play through the other modules as well, because I haven't played it very much since last Essen. So I thought, right, I'm going to get down and try out these other modules now. And it plays solo, so which is great for me. So I've played the second and third module now. The second one is boats and banjos, where you can go fishing and you can have banjo challenges, which is hilarious. I love that. And that was good fun. And then the third one is gold mining, where you are excavating gold, but sometimes you might get stone instead, and then you have to manage that. And then I've got the last one to come, which is the outlaws, where you're fighting these bandits who've taken over the mountain range to get rewards. And so it's a really clever little adapted system to these modules, and a really fun game. I've really enjoyed it. And then go ahead.
I was about to say, I've actually got this game literally from Essen last year. I mean, I ordered it through Board and Dice, and it's still not been played. I think I've punched it.
Oh, dreadful!
I think Ian from Monday Night Gaming, he got it out at the Meeple's Corner day we had after Essen.
Oh yeah.
He said he looked through the rules and he just said, "Nah, couldn't play it. The rules are awful." So I don't know if you've had that opinion on it, or
I will say the rules, because they're trying to interweave 4 different modules. The rules are a little disjointed when you read them. If you read it just as the base module, you kind of get the idea, because then it doesn't really do the other modules until after it's set out the base gameplay. But it does kind of jump around a bit with different boxes and different colours for the different modules, and it can get a bit hard to understand. So that's fair.
Yeah. So I've got it, and I've been wanting to play it. I played it at UK Games Expo actually.
Oh, did you?
And
Right.
I had a taste a bit of it, and I was like, oh, this looks really good. But then also thought there's going to be huge downtime in this when it's played with more than 2 people, because you take your actions and it can combo.
I mean, there are off-turn actions you can take, but there are not very many. Often there are 2 off-turn actions you can take, reacting off what the other players are playing. But a turn can take quite a long time. I have played a 4-player game of it soon after Essen last year, actually, and Ian was in that game as well. And that took probably 3 hours. I mean, it's a game that should only take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
When everyone knows. Now, granted, we were playing with one player who was quite AP prone. He really likes to analyse his turns. It wasn't Lewis, no. So he took quite a while over his turns, but we were chatting as well at the time, so it took a longer anyway. Right. But it did take. It was surprising that it took that long, because I taught this at Essen last year and demoed it a few times, and the teach takes about 20 minutes to teach the rules. It's not a very long game to teach, and the groups were playing probably a quarter of a game in about half an hour. So a first game, I would think 2 hours for a first game, if you know what you're doing. If you have someone who knows the rules to guide you through it. But AP can be an issue potentially.
Yeah, I thought it would be, and that's what scares me about playing it a bit. So,
but I do enjoy. I think it's a lovely game. I like the theme. So if you try it out, you try 2-player. You get through it in 60 to 90 minutes. 2-player, worth doing. And the next game I was going to talk about is Endeavour: Age of Sail.
Yeah.
Which is from Grand Gamers Guild, designed by Calder Vissier and Jarrett Gray. This comes in a pretty big box because it comes with, I think, 15 different variant modules you can add on.
Oh, really?
That just change the board up, to change the rules up each game. I've not played with any of those yet. I've just played the base game because I've only played it a few times. But I played this just yesterday with my 8-year-old son. He's been on a kick of wanting to try out games he's not played before, and so we've gone through quite a few new games new to him, which are, I would say, probably mid-weight Euros. So he's doing really well. He's played things like Snowdonia and St. Petersburg and Nations Dice games. So he's picking up these games really, really well. I was very surprised at. He's doing well. He's 8.
Whoa! Okay.
And he doesn't read very well yet. His reading is not great. But a lot of the games we're playing, he doesn't need to read.
No.
He just needs to know what he's allowed to do in the game. And go, right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And I do guide his strategy, but I let him make the final decision about what he wants to do. And so far, in Snowdonia, he beat me by about 20 points. Isfahan we played, he beat me by about 10 points in that. And Endeavour: Age of Sail last night, he beat me by 1 point. So he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
This is really frustrating for me.
You're not pulling your punches, are you, Nick?
I'm not. Well, I'm not just going full steam against him, but I'm also not not holding back too much. Okay. I'm more exploring strategy while I play to keep it fun. So Endeavour: Age of Sail, just to give a quick overview of the game, you have kind of a big map of the world with lots of little bonus tokens all over it, and then you have big player boards where you are building buildings. You'll have 8 buildings that you build over the game. You build 1 each round. And you gain workers every round that you then assign to certain buildings, which are effectively worker placement to give you actions. And they allow you to go out onto the board and occupy forts, or go shipping, or have a battle with someone else so they kind of take over their spot, or go and explore the new world. And everyone starts in Europe. You can only be in Europe until you go and finish fully exploring some of these outlying areas. So you've got the Far East and Caribbean, etc. And these tokens build up your little economy on your board, where it increases how many the level of building you can buy. It increases how many workers you get, increases how many workers you can pay each round, and it increases how many cards you can keep each round, and cards you get from trading or from goods effectively. And then some of these other bonuses on the board also just give you extra actions. The kind of unique thing about that is that it's sort of semi-area control, in that some of the forts and the shipping spots are linked together with kind of linking lines. And if your token is on either side of that line, you get the bonus in the middle. Sometimes that's just a point, sometimes that's another bonus tile. So you're kind of fighting your opponents for the positions, jostling around. The other quite interesting thing about it is that there has these decks that you go through which give you bonuses where you do trading. In Europe, there's a slave deck, and you can choose if you want to go into the slave trade. But
right.
At the end of the regular European deck, there is an abolition of slavery. And anyone who has a slave card then has to flip their card over, and they lose all the abilities, and they'll get negative points at the end of the game. And it deals with this very nicely in the rule book. It actually makes a statement about the fact that they're recognizing there was slavery at this time. It was set in the colonial times, and that they've chosen to put it in with this effect to show that obviously that slavery is a bad thing, and that the abolition did come about. And so if you had invested in slavery, then you are going to get punished for it at the end, even though it gives you a big boost to begin with. So that's quite a cool little idea. You can ignore it entirely. We didn't do any of it last night with my son. We didn't go into that deck. But it's a nice little recognition of the history, but also not encouraging players to use it, but it encourages them possibly to go that way, but then they'll pay the price if they do that.
Yeah.
So I may have made it sound more complicated than it is. It's actually quite a simple game to play. You only have 8 rounds. It lasts about 45 minutes. And it's a really fun little game. Although not little in box size.
So yes, I've played Endeavour. I played the original first edition many years ago. And I don't remember what the slavery bit was about then. I don't know if you got the negative back then as well. But it's like that. It is that really hard line that maybe some designers are coming up against, where they are doing like thematically based on history board games, and then you come across the slavery. How do I deal with this now in like what we're having to go through with Black Lives Matter? It should be part of the history.
Yeah,
and
you have to
part of the game,
it.
but
Right. But you can't. Yeah, you have to in a very sensitive way in a game.
Because that's the same.
So I think it does as well.
Someone commented to me saying how Alex Pfister his board games are quite racist, or something like that, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, he's always."
Yeah, a lot of his games, like Maracaibo, it is which is about effectively the exploit of Africa by European settlers. I don't know. I think if you acknowledge it, it doesn't explicitly say that in any of the rules or anything, and you're not doing things that feel like that.
No. But then you think about Great Western Trail, you're kind of uprooting the native Indians, even though they're just tent symbols.
And the American West games.
Yeah, you got the tent symbols there, and you're just taking a token away. You're kind of basically saying I'm uprooting these Indians that are in my way of the path up to this route, aren't you, at the end of the day? And that's a good point made.
I think that I mean that's a good point. The American West, a lot of the games have interactions with American Indian tribes, but they don't always acknowledge what the Europeans did to take their land and stuff. So games like Lewis and Clark, where that legitimately did happen, is that they did interact with the tribes, and they got help from them. But I think the games have to be sensitive to that history and acknowledge it, and not just blanket over it, but do it in a sensitive way. But it is tough.
Well, yeah, and I think now you've got to try and educate as well, kind of thing. Like what Endeavour is doing is that they've put that bit in the back and say, right, it was here. It's what was about the history. We have to live with what we did as Europeans, kind of thing, and this is the negative consequences if you go down that route too. So
absolutely.
So if they put some education into it, or like the explanation of it, that's great. Where like Fisker's games, yeah, you just plow road through the native Indians, go to Africa, or not Africa, what was it? Oh yeah, they did Mombasa, even though it doesn't really say.
Sorry.
There is a bit of that in there, which is glossed over. So yeah, he's a great designer. Might need to work on his cultural references a bit, maybe.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, so the only other board games I've really been playing, and that's been on Board Game Arena. And I'm actually quite impressed with Board Game Arena lately, because their new games, new games are popping up all the time, which has actually made me buy the premium version.
Oh yeah.
Just so I can play some of these new games, because they've got some good ones now coming up. I mean, they've released The Crew. Okay.
I saw that. Yeah.
Great way to actually try out this Kenner Spiel Desirous winner. And me, Nick, and Sam from Monday Night Gaming sat round and played about 15 games of it.
Fantastic!
Just playing through and playing each mission, and we did actually very well. As I said, we got up to mission 15, so we must have played about 20 games.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's pretty good. And I suppose they're quite quick to play, at least the beginning levels.
Well, some of them are like a turn or two, because you just need to win or complete your
your
mission
required
card
challenge.
Yeah. So it's like the first few missions, there's like one card out, or two cards maybe, depending how many people are playing, but two cards. Two people get those cards, and they just need to win a trick with that number and colour of that card in that trick. And so you can't communicate, like literally say, look, I've got that card, let me win this trick. There is a way of communicating with this little token on this next to you, but that's all you can say. But then you also watch what people take as their occupational objective cards. So you kind of say, so they've taken that, so I'm kind of guessing they've got something to do with that, and then you kind of just working out and trying to just figure out the situation. And it is a good game. It is very clever.
It is so clever to get a cooperative trick taker. It's really
and
clever.
It works, and it's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things. There's nothing else happens. It is just the same cards that you're using throughout the game, and the same objective cards. It's just dealt randomly. But like each time you play the next mission up, it kind of gives you a little kind of story of what you're doing and why these new rules have been added. But it'd just be like, right, you choose one person who cannot communicate this round, and be like, that'll be Ian, then shut him up for a bit. And then, or it'd be like, you have to do the objective cards in these orders. So then the objective cards get laid out on the table with a number below each one. So you can take still which objective card you want to do, but people must win the tricks in the order of the objective cards.
They have to win the tricks with those cards in. It's so clever.
And it's one of those games.
I've played it a few times. I need to play it more.
Yeah, it's one of those games that it's like someone literally was sitting there playing a trick taking game, and they said, "How can we spice this up a bit? Huh? How about I write down a number and a colour? Someone has to complete that, whoever I give it to." And it's like, that's how they've done it, isn't it? And then they just kind of progressed it. There's none of this like opening envelopes and adding more stuff to it. It's just the same thing. And 50 missions?
50 missions, yeah.
And
I think they've released a few more on their website now. If you want to do more, there's like 10 more, I think they put on.
So yeah, very good way. And as I said, this is just playing it on Board Game Arena.
On Board Game Arena,
good way of playing it, really. What else have they just released? Latest games on Board Game Arena?
Seven Wonders Duel is on there now.
Yep. Played that with Ian. Kicked my ass. He did.
He's good at that. Yeah.
No, that's the wrong page I'm on. What's being released latest? New So most of the new games come out as betas. So you have to have a premium pass, I think, to play them.
I think a lot of the time, you need premium for the betas.
So just recently they've just released Welcome to Las Vegas. Which is like, well, that's a big surprise because even Welcome 2 is not on here yet. So they've released this one.
Because that's very new, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only just arrived in the shops.
Yeah.
As I can remember. Luxor is now on there, which I've already got a game going on. And Turn Taxis. That's an old
classic
game. Yeah. Marrakesh. That's it.
Yeah.
That's on there. Played a few of those. Lost every game so far.
Marco Polo 2 has just come out there.
Yes, that's one I need to play. See, this is a great way. I've been playing Marco Polo 1 because it's a game I've been wanting to play for a while. Not had the chance to. And so I've been playing Marco Polo 1 just to see what it's like. Good game. Let's see what number 2 is now. Kind of thing. So, yeah.
Cool. They're going from strength to strength on Board Game Arena.
They've just suddenly gone like, what else can we put on here?
I wonder if they're getting more licenses now because of the pandemic. So many more people are using it.
Well, definitely, the numbers must have increased since.
They have increased.
I've gone back to it.
Some of the servers were struggling at some times.
Yeah, I've gone back to playing on Board Game Arena just to get my fix, which then increase if they can say, look, we're getting this number of people in, let's put your game on here, and
it will translate into sales eventually as well, because people will say, I want an offline copy of this, I want to play with my family and stuff.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just the new games we're talking about. I mean, there's 250 games now they've got.
Yeah.
And the great thing Board Game Arena is because the rules are set, you can't go wrong.
Indeed. So, you can't cheat.
No.
But also you don't need to know the rules very well because it enforces them for you, which is fantastic.
Yes. That's what I'm doing half the time, is just going in and it's like, so what can I do? Click, 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 click. No, there's none of that's working. What's the game I'm playing recently? It's actually been on it for a while. The treasure hunting game.
Is it Treasure Hunters by any chance?
No.
That's too obvious.
Tobago.
Oh, Tobago. Yeah. I love Tobago.
So I've been wanting to play it for ages. I thought, right, I'm just going to get into a game, start the game, don't know what I'm doing. Quickly watch a video, still don't know what I'm doing. I am just literally clicking on cards and trying to put them where treasure piles.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I think that Tobago is a very good one actually on here because I think that the most complex thing in Tobago is working out where the cubes get placed when the cards are revealed. And it does it for you, and that's just wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I do wonder, what I kind of understand what's going on with it now. I'm in a couple of games in, but it's just like it must be a big headache when you're actually playing this physically, because you've got to work out where cubes can be and can't be. Yeah. And it's just like, this game must take forever. Yeah. So I'm quite glad I'm playing it on.
It's so much more streamlined if it lets you do it itself. It's good. And of course the expansion's been announced for Tobago, the Volcano expansion.
Oh yes. Now I think Sam Sam's big with Tobago, so he instantly messaged our friendly local game store to make sure we can get him a copy in. The other game I love playing on Ticket to Ride. It's not Ticket to Ride. It's Board Game Arena. Because it's out of print. It's Russian Railways. And I've played so many games of that. Don't think I've won one yet. But
it's one of those games.
It is a classic game that if I could find a copy for a very good price, and I'm not meaning the hecked up prices that people are offering it for, then I would get it, because I actually found out I really love Russian Railways. And, I'm hoping there's a reprint coming soon. So
I would think they must do. I think it's popular enough, a game.
Well, I mean, if you start seeing your game flying around the second-hand markets, double its price when it first came out, then you've got to say, maybe there's a. And
I wonder if publishers get any stats from Board Game Arena about how many times their game gets played.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably will also influence whether they think it's worth a reprint.
Well, I'm kind of hoping. Who's it that does it? I had it a minute ago. I went off a bit.
Russian Railroads, 2013, is it? Wow. Hamzin Gluck, Z-Man. Z-Man
do some kind of Kickstarter and like put all the expansions in it and release it like that. I think that'd be good. Because there's a few mini expansions. Plus, they brought out German Railways, and I think they brought out another one as well. I can't think what that one is. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, Board Game Arena is great, and even the wife surprised me this morning. Nothing like that, but she surprised me by your minds are going in the wrong direction here.
I'm channeling Lewis. That's what it
is. She goes, yeah, I was trying to find like looking on Isaac's Kindle Fire app for to play Forbidden Island, and she says I couldn't find a copy on there. Then she said, oh, I found it on the App Store, but it's like £10 or something like that. I said, I wasn't going to buy that. I said, all right. Because, so do you know anywhere else? I said, yeah, there's a place called Board Game Arena. She was like, yeah, I found that. But I didn't know whether to trust it or not. I was like, really? Do you think like con artists are going to use a name like Board Game Arena to try and lure you in to like steal your information? She goes, oh, I just don't know these things. She goes, is that what you're playing on all the time? I said, yeah. She goes, so you'll have to show me how to use it later on. I was like, awesome.
Oh, result.
Nice.
Yeah. That and pandemic, you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who this person is that's living in my house. Something's happened to her. This pandemic's really got to her. So yeah. So if you do need your fix, Board Game Arena is really shaping up. With a lot of great titles on there, and I think they've got tons more in the plan. I think there's a list. You can go to the forums and look at all the alphas that are in the process.
Cool, yeah.
And there's alpha games. See if there's a list of it. What they've got.
There is alpha games. Which games? This is fun listening, isn't it? While we're looking things up.
So you can tell we actually didn't prepare anything. This is all ad-libbed at the minute.
Yeah, so it lists things like Bonanza, Letter Tycoon, St. Petersburg, automobiles.
Automobile? Oh no, that's a different automobile. Oh, is that the racing car one, or is that a different?
The racing car one with the cube bag building.
Cubes. Because there's automobiles that's like a heavy Euro. Yes, cubes in a bag. Yeah. Okay, so it's that one. That's awesome. Yeah, some good stuff coming up, looks like. Formula D.
Cool, yeah.
I'm surprised that's not on there already, because like there's others on there.
Yeah, that would be ideal for this format.
Also, Pandemic. There's nowhere that seems to be doing Pandemic. And
I imagine they're not licensing it because they're holding it all.
They want the sale. People are like, we're in a pandemic. What can we do? Let's buy a board game about the pandemic.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah, I imagine their sales are enough that they want to keep tight control of the pandemic.
Probably, yeah. They do have some slip ups and put some of the worst games on there as well, like Kingdom Builder.
I quite enjoy Kingdom Builder.
Oh, it's just so boring.
And there's a sequel to it coming out as well.
Don't start.
It's a winter themed one.
Oh, most of them don't know much
about. So I won't comment on
that. Crossmaster Blast. Okay, so yeah, Mindleaf.
Mindleaf is a fun little abstract.
It is a great little. I've still got like a copy tucked away in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Yeah, anyway,
Board Game Arena, nice.
It is great to get a fix. Yeah. Right. So, news. Now, I think there's been tons and tons of news going on, and it's just going right over my head because I have no real concept of what's going on now, really, with what's being released. I think because I'm shut away quite a lot, go to work, come home, and that's it. It's just like, don't really want to get into anything because I'm not going to get a chance of playing it this side of Christmas by the looks of it. So
yeah,
but something did pop up which I was expecting to happen, and that is the new announcement of Descent: Legends of the Dark. So this is the 3rd edition from Fantasy Flight Games of the Descent series. Now, one keynote when you look at the homepage of this, the box is huge.
It does look immense.
It is one of those. It's
almost like a whole palette square, isn't it?
I reckon so. It's like to describe it as the legendary box from Scythe. So it comes in like 2 halves that slide up. Oh, like the another one, Lords of Waterdeep. They've done this box.
That's kind of middle lip around the box.
That's it. But I mean, you got then imagine like 5 of those to put together, because this is going to be huge. The teaser trailer, which I was just watching before we came on, is awesome. What I also love is in the teaser trailer, they've got this levels. The scenery or the landscape you're working on is leveled. There's like a stairway going up to where the big boss is.
That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, the teaser's only a minute long, and if you skip through to like halfway, you can see, like it's like steps going up, and there's all 3D, 3D environment things going on. I mean, the miniatures look like they've gone over the top with the design level. Now, the only thing that's put me off that I don't like is the art.
Do you not like the art?
I don't know.
How does it compare to the previous editions?
So the previous edition, you can look this up yourself. It was all that kind of like from fantasy kind of books, like detailed drawing, kind of what you expect from any Fantasy Flight game. This looks like they've gone in a completely different art direction. They've gone outside the box and brought in a different artist altogether, because it's almost kind of Saturday morning cartoons kind of style artwork, comic book artwork, and I don't know if this fits this kind of game.
So previously, I'm just looking now, it looks like classic fantasy style illustrations. And yeah, the new one, it is, as you say, it's like a cartoon, almost anime, but
I mean, I appreciate the art, and
it's good art.
I do like the art. I don't know if it fits with Fantasy Flight, and whether I'm just kind of like, their miniatures look awesome, and they fit the design, but it's that kind of it's cell shading, isn't it?
Quite fit the miniatures, does it?
No.
That's a good point.
Cell shading, they call it, don't they? This type of art.
Right.
So you've only really got 2 different tones of, maybe 3 different tones of colour in the artwork, and I was like all in awe looking at the trailer, and I thought, wow, look at the scenery, look at the miniatures, and then I looked at the artwork for the player cards and things. I was like, oh,
yeah, it is quite different.
Is this finished? It must be finished. Okay. That is a different level. The other keynote we should say about this is it's now fully app integrated. So where the previous editions, there was one person as the overlord bad boss that commanded all the bad things crawling around and doing bad things to the heroes. Now it's fully integrated with an app like Lords of the Ring, and what's the other one they did? Wasn't there one before that they brought out? Mansions of Madness.
Oh yeah,
So it's going that way with the app situation now. So it's just 4 of you.
So the app runs the bad guy.
Yeah. So the app will deal with everything. I think it even helps with setup and things like that. And so it's now just 4 of you trying to work your way through the missions. And I reckon it's still going to have that story line going on through probably like what happens in Lord of the Rings. I haven't played Lord of the Rings version, but I do reckon they still have that story arc going through. So depending on where you do on a mission, depends on your path you take in the game. So it looks interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think someone mentioned, I don't think it's on the page here, but someone actually mentioned the price was about £170.
I wouldn't be surprised at that, seeing the number of miniatures and things in it, and the app and everything.
Yes.
It looks
but
like
you compare that to something like...
the price is at the top of the page. It's $174, $175.
So it's about £150, maybe £140.
Yeah, around that.
When it comes here. Oh yeah. I don't know if that's too steep.
I don't know if you're a fan of Descent.
I mean, I played a few missions of the second edition, enjoyed it, just never got round to finishing it all. Maybe this would be a good stepping into it.
I think if you were going to step into it, you probably want to jump into this kind of level, if you can afford that.
Yeah,
because it does the bits. All the components look really nice.
Ooh, they've now got, and they also introduced card sleeving. I've just seen that on a thing. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
Over the game, you have a chance to discover and craft new weapons. At the beginning of every quest, you can build your hero's attack card by drawing and unlocking weapons on your hero's 2 weapon archetypes. And also be ready to switch in between.
So it's kind of got using the Mystic Veil style overlays. That's cool. I like that.
I don't know if they're not transparent, but double-sided.
They're double-sided, yeah. So you have a front and a back of the 2 different cards, effectively. They're acting as one weapon.
So that's a new interesting
take
on it. Don't think I can afford it after getting my table, but
I'm surprised you can afford anything after that table.
I am admitting that I have saved up some money since getting my table, which should be going onto my credit card to pay off my table, but now that money seems to seeping away on new games that are coming out.
You play on the table, don't you?
Well, this is it. This is the trouble. I do need to sell games. That is my biggest problem. And I keep promising I will sell some games, and it's not happening. Only because I can't be asked. It's such a hassle selling games, especially when you've got people on there going, "Oh, there's a dink in the corner.
Yes.
You want to take it for less?" No, that's the price for it. All the components in it. Well, I wouldn't be selling it or telling you if there wasn't all the components in there. So that's just a few comments I get, and it just really narks me. Anyway, moving along. And that's usually the local people. The local people are the worst, I find. Bloody hell, I never have any trouble further up the country. Anyone trying to buy it that lives near me will give me the worst problems. Not naming any names. But you know who you are. Anyway. So that's Descent. Legends of the Dark. It's 3rd edition. Coming out very soon, I reckon. I think it's coming out this soon. So yes, and then Nick reminded me before we came on, because I was like, don't know what else news there is. There was the big announcement from Hasbro that they were bringing out Hero Quest again, which then everyone went mad over and said, "Oh, I can't! This is amazing! I've always wanted this game," and blah blah blah. And then they realised they couldn't buy it in this country because it was already going to America.
Yeah.
They even offered it to ship it to Canada, but for probably I think it was like the same price as buying the game. And
really?
It's like really, it's going to cost like $100 to send it over the border.
Wow.
So yes, it was a big shock. It was nice to know that they've acknowledged that people wanted this game. I don't know if people were expecting the price tag, but that didn't stop people ordering it. So Hasbro do their own kind of Kickstarter platform. They host it as like a Kickstarter kind of or crowdfunding platform. It's technically a pre-order system. They had a goal of £1 million. So I don't know what happened if they never reached that £1 million, but I think they smashed that within a few hours, which was crazy. And nothing has changed except for the miniatures.
Yeah,
it's still
I think they've updated the quality of the components and possibly tweaked the art, but the gameplay is identical, I think.
Yeah, it's still a roll and move.
Yep.
Draw random cards.
Which is almost a shame with all the stuff that Restoration Games does. It's such wonderful new updated versions. That Hasbro have just gone, well, we're just going to release it as it was before, identical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bothered. I mean, I've got like my original one still sat in a cupboard, with only a few things missing, which I'm actually really impressed about. Because since I've had this since I was 9, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, don't really need it. If it's the same game, don't really need it. But then there was also news that Restoration Games has filed a copyright, not copyright. Is it copyright or trademark for Hero Quest Legacy or something like that?
Have they? Right.
So that would be really interesting if they are going to bring out that, because they will definitely change up the mechanics to suit modern day. And if it's Legacy, that would be so good. So,
that sounds really exciting. Yeah.
I can't even find it on their website now, because
the Legacy version.
No, the just on Hasbro's website.
Okay.
So I don't know where that's gone. Oh no, it's there.
It's on Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
.com. Anyone wants to see it? So they made 2,590,000, and they've got 12 days left. I think it was like a 60-day funding period.
Oh, right. So it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just want a normal tier, then it's $100, which basically gets you what you get in the normal box. They have updated the miniatures, so all the miniatures don't look like those very static molds that you got in the original box. They've put a lot more detail in it, a lot more different poses.
They look quite nice. Quite fun, the miniatures.
They've still not addressed the all-male hero thing going on. But then they have brought out bonuses of all-female heroes to complement their male heroes.
Yeah.
I think that was a stretch goal, actually, that they put that in. I don't know. But yeah, they have got stretch goals going on as well. All the scenery is made of miniature plastic, not the cardboard and plastic combination of the original, which sucked because that was awesome. And as I said, they've updated that. Oh, they've got new doors, reinforcements, blah, blah, blah. And then if you wanted, like, the mythic tier, which comes with everything, because they've updated all the expansions as well, you can get that for $150. So yes, that's exciting. But then news came out that we couldn't get it in the UK. Everyone was upset. People were throwing toys out the pram because they couldn't get hold of a game that came out 20 years ago and hasn't changed since. And they got so upset that Zatsu, I believe it's Zatsu, actually announced that they're doing the UK version of this game, which then everyone went mad on and backed it instantly. It's like, really, guys? And I just wonder, when this actually arrives, how many times people are going to try and sell this on because they actually realise they made a mistake.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. You're going to get a lot of them just sold straight on.
It's not that good a game, actually. No one said it was a roll and move.
It's going to play on the nostalgia, I think, more than the gameplay.
It is. But then there's people, I've never played this game. You don't need to play this game. There is far better dungeon crawlers out there than this game. It is just people nostalgically kind of saying, "Oh yeah, I remember playing this when I was a kid," and then doing that. And it's like, you go back to it now, and you can actually see how out of date it is, kind of thing. So
it won't stop people playing it though.
It won't stop people buying it, will they?
Certainly won't stop them buying it. No.
So, and then regretting it and trying to sell it. And then have multiple games. I do have noticed how that Kickstarter second market has depleted.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, there is
so the back
some people come in. Yeah, it's like at the minute, Tides of. Oh, I can't think now. So there's a game came out that was Kickstarted a couple of years ago now. It's late, but it was getting big news. It was like, look beautiful, worker placement kind of game, and it's now just been released. I noticed people was already starting to trying to sell it on Facebook groups, and they're trying to sell it for about £160. Now I think originally you could pick this up on the Kickstarter for like 110, and people are like,
that's cheeky. Yeah.
Why are you trying to sell it for like £40 more? What did you originally pay for? Oh, I can't remember. Well, look it up on Facebook, on Kickstarter. Oh yeah, you paid about 110, maybe a little bit more for shipping, so I'll pay you what you bought it for. So it has diminished that second-hand market of making money on games, because everyone tries to do it now. But it's good to see, and I do like the comments where people say, looking for this game, we'll pay reasonable prices. What's reasonable prices? Well, basically what you paid. How do you know what I paid for this game? Well, you tell me what you paid for it. Well, I paid 50 quid for it. Well, oh, you come out at £30. Well, I paid £50 for it. So my reasonable price is £50. It's like, no, I'm only paying 30 quid for it. So why don't you only say then you're only going to pay 30 quid for it then?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's
interesting. Cheeky. So, yes. Hero Quest is back. It will be delivered. Everyone will regret it. And there'll be lots being sold on eBay.
Everyone will regret it.
And I've still got my original copy and I'm not selling that. Because that was also the funny thing. When that popped up on the Hasbro Pulse site, everyone started saying, I've got a copy that you could buy for £100. What? Who is crazy enough to pay £100 for like an 1980s game that doesn't work properly?
Well, you could pay £100 to get the brand new one.
Well, this is it. Or wait until Restoration Games brings out their legacy version of it, which will be fixed, and it will be brilliant.
A better game,
I don't know that. I'm just going by what the previous experiences are like. So, yeah. Oh yes, that's it. So yeah, Kickstarter. Yeah, Kickstarter. We're doing well. Kickstarter. We are actually on hiatus. I think I'm like 2 months dry at this point of Kickstarters.
Impressive.
I did back one about a week ago, then pulled out straight away. I wish I did that like 9 and 13 years ago, but it doesn't work like that. So yeah, I've just not been interested in Kickstarters. There's been interesting games pop up, and I'll be like before, I have to back that. I have to have that in my life. Now I'm just like, really, do I need this in my life? Like by the time I'm actually kind of sick, by the time they arrive, I'm just like, okay,
that's
now
the thing,
I've got to find time to play
at the moment, when you say, well, who am I going to play it with at the moment? Even if it arrives, even if it's 6 months in the future, are we going to be back able to meet to play games at that point, or are we still going to be stuck locked down, not being able to meet up in that kind of group?
Yeah. So I'm actually trying to see if I can just hold it out until my last game arrives from Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I don't think I will, because there is a new expansion to Pursuit of Happiness on the horizon that has a big box to put everything in it, and it's like
expansions don't count. That's fine.
Oh, thanks, Nick. You make me feel better. I have been keeping track. There is some interesting Kickstarter games out there. There's one that's really nearly caught my attention and nearly made me back, and I still have 41 hours to go. Crash Octopus. Now this is from Lytton Games, and this is where I think actually I might have to get this, because it's Lytton Games, I think it's called, not Lytton Games. So it's a Japanese firm that makes these funky games, and because it is Japanese, would I find this in the shops when it actually comes out? I don't know. But it looks pretty cool. It's like this kind of a dexterity game where you've got a rope around, like making this play area, and then you have these octopus tentacles sticking out of the playing surface, and then you have this big dome mimicking the octopus head poking out the water, and then you chuck all these bits and pieces into the play area, and then you're kind of trying to flick these pieces to touch your ship that are on the outskirts of the circle, and if they touch your ship, you put them on your ship, and I think you're trying to catch as many as you can. But then the octopus can attack by it. You drop a die on top of its head, and it could clatter into your boat, knocking everything going, or it could move. It looks like one of those great. Hilarious. It looks great fun. Yeah. And now I've got 41 hours to go. I'm really. It is one of those things. Will I see this in the shops? That's what I should be looking at now.
The price isn't too bad, actually.
The price is actually really good
for the base pledge.
Yeah, and they've unlocked a few things like extra challenge games, extra components. So, Nick,
it's tempting, isn't it?
I need Lewis on here to say that here, back it, and I don't have to. So it's one of those. They've done very well. It is that whole conundrum. How often do you see a Itten game? Yeah. Itter. Is it Itter?
Because they did. It's Itten. I think, isn't it? They did Tokyo Highway, didn't it, previously?
Yeah, and that took forever.
That took ages to come out. Yeah.
Because I think I saw that first time in my Essen when I went back in 2016.
Right. Yeah.
And then I didn't see it. Didn't appear until maybe the year after, or a year after that, maybe. So in the shops, that is. So it was.
So back now, I'll wait 4 years.
Yeah. I'll probably wait 4 years to be delivered from the Kickstarter. So no chance.
June 21, it says.
Next
June
year.
2021. So that's only 9 months. 9 months.
I might have to break my Kickstarter. I'll get it. I'll be like, this is amazing. Try and put it on the table for the kids to play, and they're just like, not playing it.
That's too babyish for us.
Who asked you to play? I didn't ask you to play. I am a backer. Oh, I have actually backed it. I didn't even realise it.
You've forgotten. You've done it in your sleep.
It says you are a backer. Oh yeah, I'm a backer. Oh crikey, I have broken my thing. That would have been a shock when it comes out of my bank account. Okay.
But that does look a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the look of it.
Yeah, it looks like I'm buying it now.
I'm glad to have been influential in that decision then.
There is one that's popped up, and I commented it on straight away when I saw it. I was like, what the hell is this game? Firstly, sword lesbians. Say no more. I don't even think I want to look into it. Who is doing this game? Fred Hicks, Evil Hat Productions. That's it. That's enough said about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evil Hat's been around for a bit, hasn't it? Yeah. So, one, it's recently just popped up. Freedom 5, a Sentinels comic book game. So Sentinels of the Multiverse. Universe. Was a big card game back like a few years ago. People going mad on it, saying it's like the best card game of superheroes you can ever get. They created their whole universe of these superheroes, basically based on like Marvel and DC characters all before, but it was their own universe and their own backstories and things like that. And now Arcane Wonders are bringing out this new massive box game, which has miniatures in it and looks like you dance through a cityscape doing missions and things like that. And I looked at it and I thought, that looks nice, right? Move along.
Yeah.
It's $100 to back this for just like the basic pledge. You can back it to get the whole lot for $200. Cool, there was a $500 one. Oh yeah, pre-painted heroic dice set. Yeah, so yeah, and they've sold out all their big tier pledges. They've smashed their funding goal, and it's still going. It's counting up even as I talk now.
It's so popular, the Sentinel stuff. I'm not surprised.
It is, and I don't know why. I mean, I played quite a bit of it. Then I just kind of realised it's just a huge amount of maths.
It was a very mathy game. Yeah.
Just lost interest in it. I tried to teach it to the wife. She was like, "This is crap. Not playing this." Again, I had to kind of hold a hand through it. Huh?
It's the cooperative thing. That's what it is.
I think it was the cooperative thing, and again, I had to kind of like say, maybe you should do this. Well, maybe you should play the game yourself. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, so if you like Sentinels and the universe, then you'll probably like this Freedom 5 Sentinels comic book game. You got like 20 days left, as I was talking about it.
Looks good. Cool.
Dungeon Shop's got expansions out. Nearly backed that, and then I thought, just can't be asked. This game keeps popping up on my Facebook feeds and everything like that. They must have paid a fortune to like get this on Facebook or however they do it. But Kabuto Sumo, am I saying that right? Kabuto Sumo.
Kabuto.
So you're at a car boot on a Sunday morning, and then you have to wrestle the other car booters to like buy your stuff.
Oh no, that's a theme I'll pay for. That.
Nick, design that for us, please. No, it's not. It's nothing to do with that. It is sumoing, kind of. But you're basically bugs, and you're trying to win. It's a dexterity kind of game, so it's kind of that penny drop kind of game, where you're trying to like push the coins off to drop down and collect them, and you put more money into it than you should do, but you get addicted somehow of like dropping coins into this machine where you lose it all. But anyway, it's that kind of thing where you're kind of pushing discs in to try and push off other discs.
Yeah. I've seen this on Facebook as well. This Facebook ad.
Yeah, in this you're a bug, and you're trying to push the other bugs off of this. I don't actually know what they are, on a tree trunk or something like that. But it's like it looks like a tree trunk. It's a raised tree trunk, and you get this little kind of platform that you can slide around the tree trunk, and then you slide your disc in, and hopefully push your opponents off. And it looks good fun.
And it's really cute. Yeah,
it looks really cute.
Nice wooden pieces and everything.
Yeah, you also get these like player powers in it. So each one comes with like its own signature move, which is basically a weirdly shaped disc.
Yeah.
And it's actually another decently priced game. $29, so £23 for this.
It's very reasonable.
It is very reasonable, and if you want, it's actually very compact, so you can actually like take this out with you while you're when we can go back to having meals in pubs and not having to worry about someone coughing behind you. You could have this on the table waiting for your meal to turn up and like be pushing discs around. I was just like, there's another one I could back. It's really gonna suck.
It's cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
I've still got 18 days on this, so still got time. I think I've saved it, and probably when the 48-hour mark comes around, I'll probably be back in it. So.
You're going full in on this breaking your fast, aren't you?
Well, if I'm going to break it, I might as well break it in style.
That's right. Just pack everything.
Then it's like, the missus like, so have you got any money to pay your table off? No. But I've got a lot of new games coming.
In a year's time.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
Does. I think that'd be it. Well, that's enough games, I reckon.
It's all Kickstarters.
Sorry?
All the Kickstarters, that's it.
All the Kickstarters. So, this is where Nick comes in. Nick, tell us about Spiel. That didn't really happen this year. That's the weirdest thing. And
it is weird.
I cannot do this virtual convention thing. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do it for UK Games Expo. I tried to sit there. I tried to see what I could do. And then I just, I'm at home. And if I'm at home, I've got other things to do. Like play board games with the family. Or repair the house. Or play the PS4. Or drink beer and watch crap stuff on TV. Where I do wonder how much companies are losing because they haven't got this captured audience anymore.
Absolutely, I think, and that's what I've found. I mean, it's the Spiel Digital website is in some ways very nice. They've tried to recreate something approximating a convention type hall thing where they have a big map of all the distributors in as if they're in little booths, and you can go in and see what they're selling. I haven't found that very useful, to be honest. And I think what you're missing is the serendipitous wandering around a hall and going, oh, that looks cool, let's go and have a look at that. You just can't see that in this format. And a lot of them are using Discord for their kind of running their games and chatting to people. And I'm now joined to so many Discord channels. It's just too much to take in. Although a lot of the publishers are saying that I've spoken to is that it's actually been very quiet, and they haven't had a huge amount of virtual foot traffic, which is interesting because I know there's a lot of the publishers are doing stuff, but I don't know how many punters are actually taking part in things.
I do wonder if this is going to really affect publishers, designers, everyone like that. Because
I mean, it's meant that the game releases have been spread out more over this year.
Yeah, because they usually would hold it back for Spiel, wouldn't they?
They'd hold it back for Spiel.
We're not releasing it until Spiel, so we'll hold it right back. And now it's like, well, Spiel's been cancelled, everything's been cancelled. We'll just release it when it's ready.
And they're not having to rush things for that deadline as well, which I think will help some of them. But yes, they'll be losing out on a lot of the sales from foot traffic.
And just people walking around saying, "Oh, that looks like a nice game. I'll buy that. Add that to the collection."
Exactly. Yeah.
And how many people? I mean, it is crazy if you've ever been to Spiel and you watch people actually pulling carts around with full up with games, and that'd be from just the past 2 hours. They'd be taking, once that's full, they'd be taking that back to their car, shove it in the boot, then going back in and getting more. It's like, what the hell? Really?
So yeah, they sell a lot at conventions. It's a huge amount.
And as I said, I do wonder how much this is actually really affecting, sales wise. And it's even shout because I don't even know what's coming out now. I mean,
it is hard to find.
Usually you get like a big, like someone's done a massive list of what new games are being pushed at this convention. Yeah. But I don't even know if that's happened.
I've seen some things. Board Game Geek have got their preview page as usual that Eric Martin does, which I haven't looked at really yet because as I said, there's so much. There's so many things trying to gather this information that you can't actually find the information you want from it. I think what I wanted from the Spiel Digital website is kind of a calendar of events, so I can go, what's happening in this kind of time zone, this time of area here. And at the beginning, they didn't have that. They had an event hub where you could go in and search and filter things. But if I said I wanted to say what's on between 2 and 4 p.m. today, because that's my time slot free, it was very hard to find out what was on. They have improved that for today, I think, or yesterday. I think they realised a lot of the long-running events were kind of filling up all the default space, and so they filtered that a bit. But it was still very hard to find things. I haven't really found anything from that website to look at. It's really been companies I know who were doing stuff that I've done stuff with. what they're having, and that's a shame, really, because I think it would have been good to be able to go in and say, list all the events that are happening today, and you can filter down and say what's happening in these hours, and then you can plan what you're going to do, rather than having to go through every single event at every hour to see what's on.
Yeah, and also I don't think it's helped because usually you get the content creators like tweeting and messaging, oh, I've been playing this game, it's amazing, you should check this out, or look at this, and it's because they can't do that because they're not physically present there and soaking it in, and that it's just quiet. It's just like I actually forgot. It went until Alexa reminded me Spiel Essen is scheduled for the whole weekend.
And you go, yeah. So, I mean, some of them I have been following. If you look at the Opinionated Gamers website, they've been doing kind of their daily roundup of games, which they do usually every Spiel.
Yeah.
And it's only been 3 or 4 games they've been listing a lot of the time. Their preview lists were much longer.
Yeah.
But their daily things, which is really the fact that they're having to schedule playthroughs on Tabletopia and things, and so you can't get through that many games virtually as you would do in person, because they're going to take twice as long. But there are some interesting ones that they've been coming up with.
Yeah.
So I can go on to talk about some of these now.
Yeah, you carry on.
Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is currently the top of the hotness on Board Game Geek.
Right.
Which looks a lot of fun. This looks like kind of a mid-heavyweight Euro style game. Thematically looks a bit like Indiana Jones style, archaeologists exploring into the jungle, and then trying to raid the temples and get all the goods out. And it's kind of a combination worker placement deck building game. I've watched half a playthrough now by Ricky Royal, who did a solo playthrough. There are actually a lot of videos of playthroughs. There are very few reviews yet that are out. I don't know why there aren't many reviews, but there are probably 10 full playthroughs of 1 to 2 hours long that you can watch, which I have not managed to do yet. But I've watched a bit of the Ricky Royal one, and it looks like a nice fun kind of mid to heavyweight Euro. It's a bit of a table hog. The board is massive,
like
absolutely massive table hog. But yeah, it looks. I mean, I love the theme. The kind of.
Is this a new designer? Elwin?
So Min and Elwin, the designers are. So yeah, I've not heard of them before.
It looks like it.
And it's Czech Games Edition publishing it.
Oh yeah. That's why a certain other person has got tons of videos already on it. Then.
Yep. Mr. Grogan has been prolific on those videos. So yeah, Michael Elwin Stach, one of the co-authors of the game, and his wife Min. And they are, I'm just reading their description on Board Game Geek here, they're long-term friends and employees of Czech Games Edition. So they have no other games to their credit on BGG.
No.
But this looks like a pretty good entry for their first game. So that's one that's been getting all the buzz.
Looks interesting.
It looks like fun, yeah. So I'm going to watch some more videos on that, see what I think of that.
Yeah.
The next one I have written down here is, I don't know how you pronounce this, is Hallertau, which is another Uwe Rosenberg.
I was going to say, is it with...
And you'll never guess the theme. If you think Uwe Rosenberg, what do you think the theme is?
I don't know. Is this a name makes me think David Tutsy's created it, because he loves coming up with names like that.
It doesn't begin with T, though, so it can't be a David Tutsi.
Yeah, that's right. It can't be him. It's
Uwe Rosenberg.
Uwe Rosenberg.
Hallertau.
I don't know. What's he done? Okay, so farming. Oh, I think I've seen the front cover of this, and it looks like farming.
It is farming.
Right.
It's so it combines worker placement with thematic implementation of 2-field crop rotation.
Right.
That's about all the information there is on Board Game Geek so far, and it is you've got a little plot of land which you're building stuff on. So it is classic Uwe farming simulation type game.
Yeah. So Nick, you remember when you were last on with Lewis?
Yeah.
And he done that kind of monologue
I
phone
love
call
that. It was
between
so funny.
UA
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Knizia? Was it Knizia or
It
someone
was
else?
Knizia, I think.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Maybe not keep designing the same game over and over again.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk. My city for the win. Another Reiner
Seems like it,
getting
doesn't
an
it?
award.
Rainer, he can't
Good old
stop
Ryan.
games, can he? I wonder if you should get him. Say, oh, hey, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Rainer. How's it going? Yeah, good. Just calling you up to get an idea of how to make a decent game. Okay. Well, you. I'll give you one tip. You, if you've made one game, don't keep making the same game over and over again, whether it's good or not. In a different. That's a good start. That's a good start for you. Oh, thanks, Ray. I hadn't thought of that. No problem, you. I'll see you later. Good chat. See you later. Bye.
Oh, that's slightly harsh on Uwe's design.
I'd be terrible.
Totally.
I would like to clarify. I think patchwork is a
So I don't know much more about the game because there's not a lot of information.
Yeah, the description is like 3 lines long.
Yeah. So apparently you're growing hops and you're doing crop rotation. So that's it.
Wonderful.
So far.
Awesome. Look forward to falling asleep to that. I mean, yeah.
So next on the list I've got is Paleo, and this looks quite fun. I'm just going to look this one up because I haven't got much information on it yet. But this keeps popping up on a number of lists.
See, my sister-in-law's on a diet with this name.
Yes,
Paleo.
it is the name of the diet as well. Yeah. So this is a cooperative adventure game set in the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Again, there's not a huge amount of information, but the look of it, I mean, that's what struck me first, is the look. It's got this little multi-tiered tower thing to store tokens and things in. And you've got your cute little player boards. I don't know much about the gameplay, but artwork-wise, I love the artwork. It looks a lot of fun. So I'm going to be trying to find out more about that.
And the designer is Peter Rushmere.
Peter Rustemeyer.
Yeah,
and it's publishers Hampton Gluck, Z-Man. So that's looking like it could be fun. And then the last one on my list that I've got from interest is the Red Cathedral, which is a game from Devere Games by Israel Cinderero and Sheila Santos. And I have watched a full playthrough of this, and I really quite like the look of this. So this is kind of a medium weight Euro, where you are building up the big cathedral in Russia, in Moscow.
We've gone back to the 90s with box cover artwork.
It is very reminiscent, amusingly, of St. Petersburg, which again is set in Russia. It's kind of that style of artwork, but there's not a lot of art. You've got the cover and you've got the board. There's not much else. The art on the cards is fairly basic, but the gameplay looks quite fun. You've got a little rondel around the board, with your dice, which the value of the die shows you how many slots you can move forward around the rondel, and wherever you land, you take the resources on the spot, and then you're spending resources to build bits of the cathedral, and effectively that's what you're doing for the game. So I would say it's midweight. Won't take too long. Maybe now.
Is your dice the thing you're moving around?
So the dice, you can move any of the dice that you want to. The die matching your color and the white die, you can move further by paying rubles to push it a bit further. But effectively, you can choose any of the dice, and as soon as you stop moving, once you've taken the action, you re-roll all the dice in that section that you've stopped in. So the values keep changing as you move around.
So to be honest, with the artwork and how it looks, I would need to be at gunpoint to sit down and play this. None of it is selling it to me. So the fact that you've sat there and watched stuff on this. Oh, actually, the prototype looks better than the actual finished game. That's...
I've not seen the prototype.
There's prototype pictures of it, and it's just actually that looks actually more exciting than the finished stuff.
But then I don't play a lot of games just for theme. I play them for the integrated mechanics.
I'm not a theme,
and I like it.
The box cover does need to sell it to me, and this is disgustingly.
It's not a great box cover. I will grant you that.
Who is the designer? But then even looking at the game components, it looks like they've taken something from like the old times of Euro board games, and just
very
this stuff will
Euro,
do.
Little wooden blocks.
They've not even done it nice classic. Like you can still do that artwork nicely and say, yeah, we've just gone with this art. You remember when it used to be the old heavy Euros and like it didn't matter about the artwork. We've gone in that direction. No, they've literally ripped something from there and put it in there. And Jesus, if this was on the shelf, I'd be passing it by quickly. So yeah, the gameplay needs to sell it. That's the only thing it's got going for it. So
no, that's fair. That's fair. Our work does make a big impression.
I think it makes a huge impression. That's why game companies have to spend a lot of money on artwork, because people do look at box artwork.
And with so many games coming out, you need to draw people's eye in some way.
You need that shelf presence.
Yeah.
And that looks like someone's found something in a charity shop and stuck it in their shop.
Oh dear.
I always remember. I think
it's not good. But yeah, it's the artwork could be a bit better.
Yeah, bit better. Okay. Throwing up on it can make it better.
We won't credit the artist then.
No, let's leave the poor guy alone, or her, whoever it is. I mean, I haven't even looked at who the artist. I'm going to look at who the artist is because it's really driving me nuts. Nope, never heard of him. It's fine.
What else they've done? Not much else in the board game world.
Probably not going to do much else again. I mean,
actually, one of the guys has. One of the artists hasn't, but the other guy has actually done a lot of games, a lot of illustrations for games.
Is that the second one listed?
Yeah.
Ooh. Which bit did you design?
I
don't actually know a lot of these games.
A lot of them I don't know. Which is Holmes, Sherlock and Mycroft.
Spike,
Guild of London.
I know, Spike's cool. That's got a nice
Spike,
box art.
Train. Couple of Catan
what did you design in this game? That. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff. I was looking at the Board Game Geek did do a nice page, which has now disappeared from me. Which listed all games that they were demonstrating on their channel. There's quite a lot there. It's just, as I said, it's one of those things. I'm at home. I'm really going to piss the wife off by sitting there in front of the computer for the whole weekend.
Yeah,
watching people play games, show games off, tell me about games that are coming out in a couple of months' time, or probably in a year's time after it's been on Kickstarter. So, just no. I think I might just wait for it then to be on YouTube and watch back interesting stuff people have like you've done. I will go back over these games. Probably not Red Cathedral, and we'll look at what you've.
I'm going to make you play it one day.
Hope you got a gun loaded. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's quite interesting. Thanks, Nick. Did you actually demo? Did you say you demoed stuff or done stuff?
I haven't done anything this year demoing. I've done a couple of live streams, but not actually demoing any actual games to other people.
Were you meant to be going to Spiel this year?
Yeah, in theory, I was going to be going to do various demoing for various companies. So it's a bit of a shame.
It's kind of, we were planning on going this year because I've forgotten his name. It's been so long since I've seen the guy. Nigel. Oh, sorry, Nigel. He doesn't listen, but his wife listens. Karen. Hi, Karen. Yeah, they were like, we want to go Spiel one year, and because Nigel wants to go there to the second-hand stalls. And, get all the classics that he's missing, and so yeah, I think we were planning it this year, and then we kind of knocked it on the head because of before COVID. So because like a summer thing coming up. So I don't think I will be able to do next year because hopefully I would have moved house and I have a table to pay off. But probably the year after. So hopefully everything is cleared up. So.
We would hope so by then,
Yeah. I don't even think I'm going to do UK Games Expo next year. Mainly because I'm moving. Table to pay off.
Indeed.
But, I'm just not. I don't know. I think because everything that's been cancelled this year, I've lost enthusiasm for a lot of it.
Yeah, so, you've realised you don't. Do you think you don't need that buzz and that experience, or
with UK Games Expo, it's kind of like a lot of money for a weekend of not doing much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like last time I went to UK Games Expo, I didn't actually play a lot. I mean, I did help at a stand, but like in the evening, I spent a lot of time just walking around trying to find people. And then when I did meet up with people, like I meet up with Ian and that, we spent a lot of time walking around trying to find somewhere to sit down and play games. I think we spent a whole evening just walking around. Oh, shall we go and try over here? Oh, this is awful. Right, shall we go back to here? And I'm lugging around this great big bag full of games. And then like, let's go back over to here. And we're going left, right, and centre. In the end, we ended up back in our hotel, which is that dodgy budget thing from thingy. Sat in the lobby playing one of those Oink games that Ian's been carrying around all day. I was just like, it's not fun. Just like lost it. So
no, that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, maybe the year after.
We'll see.
I don't know. Do everything the year after again.
Once you paid your table off.
Once I paid. Yeah, bloody table. Okay. So yeah, I do look forward to getting my table. It's like playing Ticket to Ride. Got Ticket to Ride on the normal table, and then it's like we were halfway. Like tea became ready or dinner, and then it's just like, this is where we need the table so we can just put the leaves back on, have tea, finish tea, take the leaves back off, and start playing again. I was just like, yep,
so good. Yeah, that's the dream.
It'll be awesome.
Won't be long.
No, I don't think mine starts getting made until January.
Okay, it will be long.
So it will be long. At this rate, it's going to fly past. That'll be probably when the next podcast has been recorded. Oh, someone's played a game. Dice Forge. Just going on Board Game Arena and carrying on with one more game. So yes, anything else to add on to that?
That is all my list for Essen Spiel thus far.
Awesome. I think we'll wrap that up because that was a long podcast, and I was just checking that I've been recording it. I have, thankfully.
Phew. Just can't remember what I said there.
It never works a second time, trust me.
It's never as funny.
It just doesn't work completely. For some reason, you try and mimic. Like earlier, before when I started doing podcasts in my own podcast, like the one time I sat with old Lewis and we had such a great chat, and then I realised half of it wasn't recorded because I was using GarageBand.
Right, yeah.
And for some reason, after 60 minutes, it can't cope with it and it just shuts off. But it doesn't tell you it shuts off until I got to it. It's like, oh, where's the recording gone? Oh no.
Oh no.
So I had half of it, and then it was like, but the second half was the best bit. So we tried to come back and reenact what we didn't, and it just didn't work. It was just terrible. So so I do have this panic every time I go to close up the show. It's just like, it's still recording. Because I use a different format now, but it never seems to fail. It's just that remembering the press record is the key issue.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up for a podcast. Maybe there'll be part 2 if Lewis can be asked to join us, or Sam ever wakes up. So thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning into this podcast that was like just made ready
Slightly
5 minutes
random.
before we came on. Thanks for Nick for turning up and bringing us information of games that might be coming out from Spiel, because I had nothing to give to the matter.
You're welcome.
And yeah, so check us out on Facebook, check us out on our website with other reviews, unboxings and things like that. And if you do notice now, this doesn't actually go straight onto YouTube, because Lipsim, who I host it with, now had a link that it just goes straight up on YouTube. So you can now listen to it on YouTube, which is actually quite
very
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
And saves me a lot of work. Thanks for listening. You can catch me at Depressed Monkey or Devon Dice UK on Twitter. And you can find Nick Shaw's
NJ Shaw 2.
and
everything.
Everything NJ Shaw 2. But remember, 0 and 1 is taken.
Yep. The swines. I'll get them one day.
And stay tuned. We'll bring you another excellent podcast later on in the future sometime. Done.
Nice one. Cool. That was funny.
Yeah, that was great actually.
Yeah, we actually had quite a lot to talk about.
In the end, I actually sat there, literally like, shit, Nick wanted to play, said he could record at 8, and we're just finishing up Ticket to Ride, and I'm sat there going, alright, no, I need a toilet. I'm messaging him to explain. So you can guess what I was doing. And then, so yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes if you still want to do it. And then, he's like, shit, he still wants to do it. Right, I need some content.
But I think we filled that nicely.
We did. Excellent. Because usually before every Spill show, we go through the list and pick out games that we'd be interested in. And it just
that's one of the problems. Is I don't know of a definitive list of Essen releases, unless I manually go through every single one from Eric Martin's list. Right. I don't want to crawl through 495 titles.
No, I mean I used to do Tabletop Together because their list was pretty good. Then you could like filter it to like what you're really interested in, or something like that, and then you can then just look through it bit by bit.
Yeah,
but I don't think he did that this year because I don't think he knew what was coming out this year. So
indeed,
difficult year for everyone. I think
it is.
Yeah, even us people that are heavily addicted. So yes.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. That's great.
That's right. You're welcome. And I'll make sure not to mention Red Cathedral. Your comments to them. I'll make you play it one day.
It's terrible. That was like when it pulled up, I was like, "I'm on the right page." Yeah.
It does look like it's from the early 2000s, doesn't it?
Does it? It's just like when I first started gaming, and it was like they're still bringing in games out. Like,
so if you compare the artwork to the original printing of St. Petersburg, which Sam hates the art so much in St. Petersburg, he refused to play it after first play. It looks quite similar in art style, and that came out in 2004.
St. Petersburg Express. Oh yeah, ooh. I don't know. Do you know what? Even St. Petersburg is better than Red Cathedral.
To be honest, I hadn't really paid attention to the front cover of Red Cathedral. I've really just gone on the components.
You don't pick a game by its cover, do you?
Well, the bizarre way... Exactly. Red Cathedral, I don't remember why I'm subscribed to it on Board Game Geek. I just think someone mentioned it on a podcast somewhere and said, "Oh, this looks really interesting," and I was subscribed to it, and so I just see the notifications come up. And so I didn't really pay attention to the artwork. And then I watched John Gets Games playthrough of it. I went, "Oh, that's quite cool." Cool. Thanks, Joel.
No worries, Nick.
That was fun.
Thank you very much.